Guys, how's everybody doing today? And want to make sure that we are going live on all platforms. We're going live on YouTube every Tuesday, Thursday at 11:30 Pacific, 2:30 Eastern, right? Today is all about business funding, all about strategies to get business funding and the best ways and the quickest ways that you can access capital, right? How can you leverage yourself? Well, by being prepared. So, guys, go ahead and do me a favor, hit that follow button, hit that like button, and hey, look at that. It's working. Oh my God, I love it. Hit that follow button, hit that like button. Make sure that you are welcoming people into the chat. Make sure you're welcoming people into the groups as well, because um, we want to grow. And then by growing, that helps other businesses, right? And then essentially, you're also growing your network and your business as well, guys. Okay, come on. All right, you guys, it's Tuesday. You know what I like to say? I like to go into a meeting with purpose and leave with direction. And today we are talking about how you can successfully, right, improve your chances of getting approvals on your application. So that's going to be our main focus today, guys. Make sure that you are commenting where you're from. We are going live here every Tuesday, Thursday. Every Tuesday for the business funding. Thursday is our Rise to Capital series. But every Tuesday is where you come in and you get your tips on business funding and strategies. So thank you guys for your support, because we are growing, right? The channel is, we're almost at 4,000 subscribers, you guys. So come on in and, make sure you're asking your questions. So today, our main topic is really talking about how you're going to significantly boost your chances to get funded, right? So I'm Dominique, CEO and founder of Domino Effects Group and the Domino Effect, and director of women-owned enterprises at GRE Capital. And I am just so excited and thrilled for everybody that is here now, everybody that comes in and watches this at a later time. I'm just happy you're here and you're tuning in and you're able to get some of these insights, right? Because why are you here? Well, you're here because maybe you have a business, you're interested in starting a business, or you're already working with clients who need funding and you're looking for a way to leverage the platform and get those clients funded, right? So today we're going to look into all of these strategies so we can help increase some of these approvals. So I know how challenging this is, okay? I know how challenging it can seem when you're looking for funding, right? Especially not knowing where you're going. Hold on, let me turn this off, guys. All right, so especially if you don't know where you are going. So we are, if you're just coming in, then make sure that you're introducing yourself. If you are new to this group, then make sure that you're giving, shouting out your business, shouting out your name, shouting out where you're from. And because a lot of people are coming on here, like I said, we have 4,000 subscribers, but we need you guys to start talking. So go ahead and let us know where you're from, because everybody, I love meeting all of you guys. I talk to a bunch of businesses every single day, and it's just really, really cool to talk about some of the things that you guys got going on. So promote yourself, promote your business, drop your name, drop your business, drop where you're from, okay? So my hope today is that you walk away feeling much more confident than you did probably before you watched this video, okay? So we're gonna start with strategies, okay? Strategies to get your business funded. And the first one we're gonna talk about is targeting and research, okay? So not all funding sources are created equal, guys, okay? What does that mean? It means you shouldn't just be out here applying randomly, right? Finding the right application is really important, right? Making sure you're getting matched to the right funder. So imagine, right, if you are, an energy company and you are getting matched to a company that is only focused on, tech startups or something, but, you are essentially wasting your time, right? So you don't want to be doing that, right? Or you don't want to be applying with an investor who's primarily backing an e-commerce biz, right? You're an energy solution. So that would be a huge waste of your time to be pitching to that type of funder. So it's important that, the type of financing that you're looking for is a match. Okay. So, and that's what we're doing here is we're matching founders to the right funders. Okay. And that's why this targeted research is super critical. All right. Like I said, you don't just want to be out here randomly applying. So a good starting point for you would be to do something like creating a spreadsheet, right? You could create a spreadsheet of the list of funders that are focused on what you're doing, right? And it doesn't have to be a super long list, right? It's a very focused list um, that is aligned with what you're currently doing, right? And then you can include, different what their focus areas are, their typical funding amounts, what their deadlines are, and you can find all of this on their website. You can go on LinkedIn, you can go on Google, but you do some research and you look into, right, what the company is so that you're not getting into yourself into a situation. And writing this out, putting this on a spreadsheet is really going to help you prioritize your efforts, and it's really going to help mitigate you being or reduce you being matched to someone that has nothing to do with what you're doing and most likely won't approve you, right? But guys, go a little bit deeper than that, okay? Look into the other types of businesses that they fund, right? Are they similar to your types of business? Are they similar to what you're doing? If you're seeking investment, what else is in their portfolio? Is it something aligned with what you're doing, right? Are they a tech? Do they have a tech portfolio? Are they doing real estate? Like, what is it that they are hyper focused on? And then this really comes down to when you're tailoring your pitch, right? When you're tailoring your pitch, or when you're talking about, where the company is going and the use of funds, this really helps, right? And then we'll talk about this a little bit further. But when you're targeted, right, your focus, just know you're probably going to be submitting fewer apps, but you're going to increase your chances of being funded, right? Because you're looking in the right places. And in this aspect, we're looking at quality over quantity, you guys. So thanks again for coming into this group, you guys. And I just need you to hit that like button, hit that follow button so we can continue to get this information out here, okay? But guys, all right, let's continue on with this strategy and how you can be most successful and how your clients can be most successful. Let's talk about the business plan, all right? So a business plan is not just some document that hey, maybe I'll need one, maybe not, right? A business plan is honestly beneficial to you, right? It's like a blueprint of where you're headed. And of course, it's going to change, it's going to evolve as you evolve. But it's a really great starting point to outline your funding journey and where the company is going and the vision of the company, right? There's three main things that well, there's more than three, but these are the main things that you should really, four. There's four. I'm going to say four. Four main things that you should touch on, all right? You're going to touch on the vision of the company. You're going to touch on the market opportunity, right? How you actually plan to execute this. That's its three. And then this bonus one here is you got to show the investor how they're going to get their return. How are they going to get their return on the money, right? This could be the greatest idea in the world, but if you can't show how the investor is going to get their money back, then, you're not going to have much luck, right? So let's go first diving into your vision. Okay, so with your vision, right? This is where you're dreaming really big, right? Small business, big dreams, big vision. So where is your company headed? Where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years? Okay, paint this picture vividly. When I'm speaking with a client, I'm like, okay, so where do you see this company in a year, 3 years, 5 years? What's your plan? What are you planning to do? Oh, I'm planning to add another location, or oh, I really don't know yet, or oh, well, one of my friends sold their company for 150 million. We're looking to do something like that, grow and scale to that level. So what are you looking to do? And put some thought into this, right, guys? So put some thought into this, paint it vividly, because you want to be prepared for these questions, okay? And that's whether you're speaking with an investor, whether you're speaking with a lender, whether you're speaking with a credit issuer, whoever you're talking to, whatever funder you're speaking with, be prepared to ask those questions, right? What are you planning to do with this money, right? How is this going to contribute to your growth? And so the next thing you want to focus on is your market opportunity, okay? This is where you're proving that this dream is not just a fantasy, right? This dream is actually, you're going to actually make it happen, right? You're going to say, you know what, my company is going to be valued at $1 billion or $100 million within 10 years, okay? Everybody's going to say that, right? Of course. But, you have to show how you're actually planning to do that, okay? And, sometimes we can get really in love with our projects, right? Product, service, whatever that is. So it's good to be objective in these situations and reach out, okay? You need to be investment ready, is what we call it. So I highly suggest reaching out to somebody like Ernest Papadoyanis, right? He's has many years of raising capital and literally there's a program and a process set up to how you should be prepared before you even approach, investors and things like that. So how you want to look at things like, the size of the market, growth trends, how your solution actually is going to fit in, right? And don't be afraid, to Google it. You can Google it. Of course, you can start Googling your information, but you want to be very, very specific. And like I said, reach out and get some help, right? Get some feedback and critique, because this is a serious thing, right? And then lastly, execution, right? So you need to explain how you're actually going to bring this to fruition, right? How is this vision actually going to become a reality and actually start becoming, showing this return, right? So actually, how do you do this? Well, you do this by providing financials, right? Not necessarily the sexiest part. I know, I get it. But you guys, you don't ever want to skip this step, because you need, yes, to explain the vision and your idea, but it's going to come down to numbers as well, okay? So what is the projections of this company? And be realistic, okay? Are you going to have a loss in your first year? Don't be afraid to also show some, strong projections, right? But make sure that it's realistic, you guys, okay? You're now going to make $100 million in your first year, okay? And if you do something extreme like that, it really scares the funder off, okay? So make sure that you're being, what is it? Objective. All right, so then you also want to understand your industry, okay? Understand that, you want to clearly be able to communicate and specify what the value is, what makes you unique, right? What makes your company unique, what makes your next steps unique. And then answer this as to what this funding is going to do to contribute to that, right? And guys, you can do all of this in your business plan. So think about it like this. Take the time, put the work into your business plan. Now you have it as a template for that spreadsheet of the lenders that you've already researched, that are within your are funding that your industry, or funding companies similar to yours. Boom, you hand over this on top of the other things that we're going to discuss. You're increasing your chances of approvals, right? As opposed to not having this information, because there's nothing worse than having somebody show interest and then you don't have the proper documentation, you don't have things in order, and you're like, oh, let me get back to you. The opportunity is already missed at that point, okay? So, all right, other strategies. You want to show that you have a competitive, landscape, right? You know who your competitors are. You want to address who your competitors are. Don't be like, I don't have any competitors, I'm totally new in this space. If you are, right, and you're coming in with new competitors, you have competitors in some aspect. And Ernest Papadoyanis taught me this too. If, let's say, you're like a pizza company and there are no pizza companies within your area, right? That doesn't, mean you don't have any competition, because people are still going out to eat. So your competition is, where are they going and how are you going to get them to come to where you are, right? So these are the things that you guys want to be thinking about, and adding to your business plan, right? So remember that this business plan is not just a document. It's literally a blueprint. It's literally a roadmap, right? A roadmap to your success. So treat it like, oh, this is my like living, this is my document, this is my baby, this is my thing. Okay. Update it though, because your company is going to evolve and everything like that. But business plans, they want to see this, especially if you're going to be doing something like going to a CDFI, where they do microloans, right? So now, all right, you guys are also need to be focused on the pitch. Okay. We're going to talk about that as well. Because what is the pitch? Well, this is essentially, you're conveying, right, what you're going to do with this money, right? You're essentially conveying the story of your company, the story of your business, what you do, and then you're letting them know the problem that you solve, right? The problem that you solve, how you stand out, what makes you unique, okay? And then you're grabbing them, right, with your story, but also, and I'm throwing a little bit of element here, right? So with your when you're seeking, equity investment, you wanted to have like your pitch deck formulated, your pitch formulated, right, where you're kind of hooking them in with your story, right? But on the debt side of things as well, when you're speaking with, the bank, or if you're speaking whoever you're speaking with, they still want to know, that the same thing, right? It's essentially the same thing, because you can imagine if you get on the phone and you're just like, I mean, I think if you gave me this money, I'd be able to do something with it. So, I just, I'm not sure exactly what, but I've got a good idea that I'd probably spend it on maybe like a little bit of marketing here or there. But, maybe I'll hire somebody or something. I'm not sure. Does that sound like somebody that you would want to lend money to, right? Or are you going to ask more questions? You're going to be like, okay. But if you're like, well, this money, this is what my company does. We are building, a new technology company that's gonna, or a new clothing company that's like sustainable underwear. I don't even know, right? We're building this new company, and this funding is going to allow us to invest in this aggressive marketing campaign that is really going to allow us to push our brand out, build our brand, build our authenticity, and then start increasing some of our revenue as well by bringing in more clients, right? So you're showing a plan. We're going to do this by, creating this website, and we're going to create a subscription based model. Then people are going to come in and they're going to pay $5 a month. And then inside of the group, we're going to do this. So, you have a plan set in place that's going to show, hey, I actually put some thought into this. I'm really passionate about my business. And even you can even talk about some of your success stories, right? And guys, how do you practice this? Well, pitch to yourself and pitch in front of the mirror, pitch to your dog, to your family, to your friends, pitch to whoever will listen, right? Because you'll only get better. So get comfortable with being uncomfortable. You want to practice, 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 guys. You want to record yourself. It's going to be awkward, yes, especially if you've never done it before, but the best way to get over that is to just keep doing it, right? This is something that I struggled with initially, but you know what? You just got to get over it, right? That's just what I told myself. And look, easy breezy now. So now you want to let's move on to documents, right? Because you want to make sure that this is one of the biggest things that I see that holds some companies back, right? Aside from things like not having all of the information matched on the back end. But if you guys are still with me, this is where this gets really serious, because funding, it comes, your documents are really, really important. Okay. And this is things like your financial statements, current financials, income statement, balance sheet. If you've got receivables, the AR report, AR aging, excuse me, tax returns, relevant contracts, relevant patents, licenses, things like appraisals if there's real estate involved, making sure everything is up to date, you guys, okay? Especially right now, especially if you're a woman or a minority-owned business. Why? Because you need to be twice as prepared. That's just a fact, okay? So there is nothing that shows that you're unprepared, like, oh, well, I don't have that and I can't get to it. And also, not only that, you're limiting your funding opportunities, because when you don't have certain documents, it just automatically takes you out of the game for a better rate, better term. And now you have to settle for that lower offer that you might have not been that you might not have initially taken, right? So think about these things, right? Because they can all affect your approvals. And we want to give you the strategies that are going to increase your approvals, okay? And so, what about if you're an early stage business, right? If you're an early stage business, how are you going to show traction, right? How are you going to show this? Well, this is really important because they want to see investors and lenders and funders. They want to see, like, okay, you have an idea, that's great, but are you doing something with it, right? Meaning, like, for example, we have businesses that are operating that aren't registered. Essentially, you have a hobby, right? You're never going to get funded if you don't take the effort to establish your credibility. They're going to look at it as like, why would I take you seriously if you're not taking your own business seriously, right? So it is really important that you give yourself that credit and you invest in yourself. Okay, you are taking a leap here, so make sure you have all of the tools to be successful in this leap that you're doing. But you can demonstrate all of the traction that you're doing by getting a CRM system, measuring all the new people that come in. You can start a membership group. You also monitor your financials, right? When you have your financials, you can show how your profits are increasing every single month. So there are lots of things that you can do. If you have contracts that are coming up, if you have letters of interest, you can submit those as well. That will only help your case, okay? So these are all things that you can put together to make you twice as better, okay? So if your numbers are small, guys, it's okay. Chill, don't trip, chocolate chip, it's all good, okay? Every business owner starts somewhere, really. And just think about it like this: even the biggest companies, even the most successful companies, even the most successful entrepreneurs have all started at zero. Okay. They all started at zero. All right. And then they had to work their way up. And I'm talking about the entrepreneurs who started at zero and had to work their way up. Okay. What it is they worked at it. Okay. So just make sure that you're showing that you're moving. You're showing that showing that you're moving this business along, and it's not just sitting there, right? And you're working to make this into your vision, right? Your reality. So the more paperwork, or not paperwork, the more credibility that you can show, the better opportunity that you have. Okay. And so let's talk about two other elements here. And this is your funding request, right? And then your team. So your team, when we're talking about, especially when we're talking about if you're looking for investors, right? Investors want to know who's on your team. They're betting on the people as well. Okay, so they want to know, all right, what is it about you that's going to make this company work, right? And so you want to highlight all of the successes of the people that are benefiting to your company, right? Highlight all of the great things that they've done in this space. And then also you can highlight where some of your shortcomings are, right? If you're great at marketing, then you need somebody to come in that's going to be great at sales, okay? So that you can balance that out and you guys can, elevate the company faster. But you can also be honest, right? When you're talking about your team. If it's just you and you're looking to build your team, then be honest about that. And look, we're looking to add on, this an additional arm, this branch. We need this developer on our team, or we need a chief marketing officer on our team. This is, be honest about where you're headed, okay? So, it applies if you have a founder. If you're a single founder, or if you're a co-founder, okay? And then let's talk about when you're actually requesting the funding, okay? And this is where a lot of people actually just mess up, okay? Because, they're either not asking, they're asking for too little, or they're asking for too much. And so this is how I'm going to give you some tips here. You're going to be able to nail this. First thing you want to do, guys, is you need to be realistic, okay? Be realistic about the funding that you're requesting and what you're looking for. Like, you don't want to come in and be like, I need $100,000, okay? What for? Well, I need this piece of equipment, and the equipment is $25,000. Okay, well, what's the other $75,000 for? Well, I'm just going to keep it just in case. Okay, I get that, right? But then you probably don't want a working capital loan, okay? And then you could probably get something like an equipment financing loan, which will give you a better interest rate, especially if you have good credit. You could do something like that, and then possibly get a revolving line of credit, right? So then you can draw down from it as you use it. So knowing where you want to go is really helpful and essential. And you want to be realistic, okay? So this show that you've done your homework, show that you know what your needs are, okay? And you're not just going to pull out some random number out of a hat. Oh, I think this 5Gs will work for me, okay? They want to understand that, they want to see that you understand that this is for a purpose, okay? So make sure that you're clearly explaining and you're being very specific on what the funding is going to be for when you're connecting with them, okay? And you know what you could do, guys, is you can link this, okay? Link it and break it down much deeper. You can let them know about like milestones that you have coming up. If you have a big contract coming up, remember we talk about that LOI, submit that. If you got a big contract coming up, that's a milestone, that's a win, right? So talk about that. And remember, it might not necessarily be one thing that gets the approval, but a combination of these things can really elevate the package, right? So we want to make sure that you guys are being put in a really good position. So, asking for funding isn't just about getting the money, right? It's about, leveraging your relationships, connecting with bankers. Remember, you want to have relationships with regional banks, with community banks, with credit unions, right? And you want to start building those relationships, okay? Why? Well, because as you start to grow, you can start to get additional funding, right? So it's great for you in the future. It's great to have those connections, okay? And why you could probably skip a few steps, right? Because you've already established that down the road. So here we are at the application, right, guys? So when you're at the application or when your clients are on the application, follow the instructions, okay? And the application's pretty simple, really. We typically do the one-page application and send it out. But you want to make sure you're following the instructions as you move through. That way you don't cause any, there's no delays, right? And then also when you're submitting something to an investor, right? If the investor says this should only be like 10 slides and you submit 20, that's not a good thing. And I say this from personal experience, guys. Okay, so if they're saying submit 10 slides, submit 10 slides, all right? Don't submit 20 and be like, no, I think that I need to explain this more. One of my mentors told me, I remember she was like, investors are really smart, so don't initially you're only going to have a few minutes when they're going through your deck, so don't over explain and make sure everything is spelled correctly. You don't want any errors. You don't want any grammatical errors. You don't want anything, and I say this from personal experience, where you have a word the words typed out like this, and as you move the letter back, one of the letters falls to the bottom. You don't want that, okay? Go back in and make sure, double check everything, all right? Because the likelihood of you having to resubmit documentation is just only going to delay everything, okay? And you want the transition, you want this to go as smoothly as possible, right? So what happens after you submit, okay? Like, what's next? Well, this is where we also see a lot of people who struggle, okay? Because you're going to get asked due diligence questions, okay? Now we're stepping into the due diligence, okay? Now we're going to go a little bit deeper and really get into some of the financials that you submitted, especially if it's a larger amount, if it's over $1 million in funding, right? And we want to, get into this and make sure that you're going to pass the due diligence, right? So make sure you're being honest through the whole process, right? You don't want things popping up at the last minute. Truly, there is no shame in your game, okay? You need to just be honest with everything, because that is how we help get you approved. We're able to address the issue and attack it firsthand. The worst thing is when things pop up at the last minute, there's nothing we can do. All right, so make sure that you are, being transparent, you're being honest, and that you are really, when you're going through the due diligence process, if you have liens, if you have tax liens, if you have other loans in place, be honest about those things, because when we know ahead of time, we can explain it and then put it in the package, and then it's 2 weeks to funding after that. Could be up to 2 weeks of funding after that. But as things pop up, literally all you're doing is pushing it out until we can get that back. And then if it keeps happening, the deal will die. There's nothing we can do, and time kills all deals, right? So, guys, you want to be looking at this from the lender side of things, okay? That's last and most important. If your business isn't fundable to begin with, right, you're just simply going to waste a lot of time going out there and applying and applying and applying and applying over and over and over and over again. Because there are so many factors that lenders and credit issuers look at before they even issue funding. Okay, they want to see if you're even credible, if you even have a credible foundation set up before they even look at how much funding, or how much revenue, all this kinds of things, right? Your cash flow, your collateral, your credit. They want to know, do you even have a business, right? So, you want to be aware of these things. This is how you're going to be prepared. But if you don't have some of this stuff, right, you need to look at other ways, right? Other ways. You're thinking, how am I going to get financed if I don't have this in place? Well, that's where you start establishing your business credit, okay? If you don't have cash flow right now, you don't have credit, you don't have collateral, then this is an absolute must for your business, okay? Absolute must, okay? And I talk with business owners who have solid cash flow that are getting denied. I talk with business owners who have solid cash flow and collateral who are getting denied. Cash flow, collateral, and credit who are still getting denied, okay? And it's for things like things that are not matching on the back end, that they are, you have two different addresses going on, it's all kinds of stuff. So, make sure that you're actually confirming that your foundation is set, your credibility is established. If you need help with that, then 100% you need to be reaching out and scheduling your funding planning session, plan.dominoeffectsgroup.com. All right, you guys, you don't even need to search that far. You just need to click the link, okay? Click the link. It's literally right there, and get your free funding and finance assessment. And also click on the link tree and make sure that you can check out how you can get 0% interest financing. It's a free course, you guys. Go in there and figure out how you're going to get 0% interest financing. Click the link. I'll put it in the chat, and figure out how you're going to get up to $150,000 in 0% interest financing. All you need is a 700 credit score. Current. You're current on all payments. You don't have minimal inquiries. Less than 4. And everything is up to, current and up to date, like I said. So you'll find those links at the bottom of this video. But guys, those are funding strategies. And I know we covered a lot today, but before we sign off, I want to leave you with 2 things. We had 2 approvals this week. Okay. We had one for automotive company, and then we had another one for a female-owned company. Whoop, whoop, whoop. All right, and we'll actually be interviewing them. But the auto company was for 21,000, female-owned company for 6 million, guys. All right, now listen to this. Before she even came over, and this is to us with GRA Capital, they were seeking funding for a year. We got this done in 45 days, guys. All right. 45 days, okay, from a year to 45 days, and we're saving her a bunch of money, and she just got approved for the 6 million. So we'll be bringing her on in a few weeks to interview her and get her experience, understand what her experience was like with getting funded with Domino Effects Group and GRA Capital. So guys, that's it for today. Make sure that, like I said, you're following, you're subscribing, and you are doing me a favor and sharing as well, because we want to reach as many businesses as possible. We're on a mission to provide capital to you, to businesses all across the nation. And we want to help female-owned businesses, diverse businesses, by providing you the information and the capital to do so. All right. And guys, listen, remember that most businesses have failed. Most businesses have been rejected. Okay, it's all about what you do with it and the next steps you take. Think about it as when your next no is just an opportunity to get closer to your yes, okay? Learn from each interaction, figure out why you were denied, take that, use it as a blueprint to get approved for even further. And make sure you're coming back every Tuesday, Thursday, where we go live. Hit that follow button, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and come into the community. Guys, also, I want to let you know about an event that we have coming up called Show Her the Money on September 14th. This event talks about the disparities of that. Women receive less than 2% of venture capital, but you know what? We're not going to trip on that, because we're highlighting the new avenues and the possibilities that are being made for women out there, women who are raising capital, women who are actively trying to fund these businesses out there and trying to spread the word on alternative investments and how you can get involved in becoming an investor as well. So come in and show your support for Show Her the Money. It's here in Sacramento on September 14th. If you are a woman in business, I want to see you there. You better be there. All right. All right, you guys. I'll see you next time. Make sure that you comment to the group. Leave any questions that you have. I want to see if you're a partner already. Leave your questions, comments,